Hi everyone, it's Barry from Jerusalem. It's Wednesday here, Wednesday morning. Beautiful day in Jerusalem, out in the forest near the Knesset. Today's Parsha is Shalach. Shalach, actually. Shalach is another Parsha, but Shalach. The spies, when Moses was given the call by God to come into the land of Israel, the land of Canaan, there was a question. Well, let's go observe the land. And when we're out to do a certain mission, we have to have a positive outlook. We have to if we have to conquer a land, like there's wars today, we have to go in with the idea that we won already. This is a manifestation of positive thinking. If you believe in yourself and you believe in your ideas, then eventually they will come to fruition if it is God's choice. That's how it works. So B'Shalach, they came into the land, and the spies, each one came from the heads of the 12 tribes, the very, very best choices. And they saw grapes, unusually sized grapes. And it was even hard to carry. They were almost like trees. There's a picture showing two people carry on a piece of wood a ton of grapes. And the idea was that there were giants in the land. So of the 12 people that went into the land, only two had decided that we could do it. But the other 10, they didn't perceive themselves as going against these giants. They said, there are giants in the land. We're like grasshoppers to these giants. How can we come and overtake this land? Now, you see, they were in the desert and all the miracles of Egypt. And God's doing all these things for the Jewish people, but the Jewish people had what it appears to be a lack of faith. So faith is really an understanding. If you really believe in God, you have to also believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, that you have to do everything in your possible, in your mindset, to say, yes, we can win. Can you imagine if Israel had this mindset? Since October 7th, how many encounters did they have? How many missiles? 100,000 missiles? From Lebanon in the north, and to the east from Syria, and to the south from Gaza, and for the further south from Yemen. And the Iranians also farther from the east. So all these instances, what are we going to do? No, the Jews didn't act like the spies. The Jews today are a lot different. They send the youngest to go into the army at age 18. And many of these people on October 7th died, and continue to die after 600 days. But morale is good. We are going to win. And they now corner the Ayatollah Khomeini in his little bunker with his family. He could be destroyed any second. And Israel has done a wonderful job destroying all these aspects of terrorism that wants two things accomplished. Israel was just a sideline. America was really the main line. But Americans are saying, why should we help Israel? This president said that we shouldn't do this and that. Don't you see what's happening in your own country in America today? With Muslim fundamentalists? I'm not saying they're good and bad in every people. But you gotta see what's going on in America. You don't even understand that America, the land of the free and the brave, had such blatant anti-Semitism. That's why I wrote my book, Dodging with the Devil, Only If I Lead. I wrote this book before it even came out to warn everybody. But nobody knows. And I'm doing all these videos because I love the world. I love my people. I even love America, though I chose to move here 14 years ago. And I consider myself much safer here than that. You know, the alarms go off. You know what I do? I open up my Torah and I read. You know, these terrorists, they call terrorists. I don't call them that. I call them wimps. But these idiots, all they want to do is destroy. All Jews want to do is build. And that's why God is with us. Just like he was with us 3,000 years ago on this Parsha Shalach. And there was a lot of contention whether or not we could do it. Today we Jews are alive because we still carry this enthusiasm, this ability to build this little Israel with 100 million Arab nations surrounding us. Everybody's pointing the finger on Israel. And then they go further outside of Israel now in the last couple of years because October 7th, and they don't even have a clue that Israel saved the whole world in the last 600 days. At a great expense of killing many of her most beautiful, devoted children who only see winning as the ultimate purpose because it's winning the forces of good over evil. So in Bishalach, when they saw the giants, they said, oh, we can't do it, we can't do it. No, we've grown in 3,000 years. We have a state that was reintroduced after 2,000 years in 1948. And it's only 75 years old and five wars, and Israel still survives. Israel still can live. Because the vision of Moses at Sinai to go into the land and conquer it from these foolish idol worshippers and these child sacrifices, it's the same business today, 3,000 years. These are the same Canaanite nations. These are the nations that God told the Jews to go into the land because we are created in his image even before the land of Israel and the state of Israel came to it, or the people of Israel that came in existence 2,500 years ago with the two temples. It was on this day that the spies came into the land in the Jewish calendar of Tisha B'Av, that in the future, 500 years between the destruction of the first temple and the destruction of the second temple, it was in this day that the Jewish people had a decree in heaven. You don't want to show your positive side? You don't want to show that you have faith in me after all these miracles I've done for you? I'm going to give you a situation, my 10 spies, the 12 spies. Only 2 had the vision and the faith that said, we can do it. Caleb and Yeshua, Moses' faithful assistant. And Caleb, if we trace his roots, we also see that he was a descendant of Hur, which was the ones willing to fight at the golden calf, and he passed away. And this was a reincarnation. We also have to understand that there is a concept of reincarnation in this world. And we see it from all the religions. Some believe it, some don't, this and that. But we Jews believe in only one God as the ultimate truth. And all these things that are unfolding right now is to see that this one God, not the Son of God, no virgins involved here, just one God with a direct connection, a wireless connection, no Son of God. We're all his children. I'm his child. That's who I am. And I'm just giving you a message because this is what I understood. And it's interesting because I understood this message not through my own religion. I studied the other religion. I went to Instagram and I said to myself, there's too much anti-Semitism. I wrote this book, nobody's reading it. And I said, and I had it on Amazon and Book Locker, and they gave me such a trouble because they're all trying to push this Christian concept of the Son of God, and I'm blowing it away in my book and in my videos. So we still have to love everybody because we're all divinely created in the vision of God. He's using the Jewish people, literally using them, to show how great he is. And he's going to show, these are my people. This is my land. They haven't given up in 3,000 years since we sent the spies in the land 3,000 years ago. And a decree against the land was on the Tisha B'Av, which is this June, the 9th of Av, in the Babylonian month of Av. Av in Hebrew really means father. Abba means father, but it was in the diaspora, in the exile, in the dispersion, that all the nations of Israel came against Israel because they said, "Hey, your God didn't produce. What are you guys doing in exile?" Joseph was in exile. Joseph was alone in Egypt. There was a famine in the land of Canaan, which is now Israel. And they came, his brothers. And his brothers had sold to him. Because again, there was a lack of family stability, a lack of complete emunah, or faith, as we say in Hebrew. Emunah is faith. Brotherhood is the co-concept of this Torah, the 5 books of Moses. But it took a guy like Joseph, the tzaddik, the righteous one, to forgive his brothers and teach them by not revealing himself until the very last moment where he felt for his brothers, even though they sold him. He realized from God himself that he was chosen to come to Egypt to save the Jewish people and to liberate the Jews from Egypt, to bring them the Torah in the desert, where God reveals himself. He comes out of his holy abode in many signs and wonders and sounds, where he iterates the 10 Commandments. These are my laws. You got to keep them. You got to follow them. You got to have faith. You're going to be tried. You're going to be tested. Do you have what it takes? Do you have that will, that know that it doesn't matter, I'm with you whatever happens? You want to be like 10 of the spies that went to survey the land to see if they could, maneuver themselves in a great way? Did that happen in the Hanukkah story? When there were a few Jews against the Greeks who wanted to destroy the Jewish people? The Kohanim, the high priests, the educators of the Jewish people went against them. We still have Hanukkah. We still keep it. The rabbis decreed Hanukkah and Purim. Purim is the holiday of masquerade. That's the holiday of Iran. We're in 127 provinces. They wanted to destroy the Jews more than 2,000 years ago. And in the end, they destroyed the guy, Haman, who was the one who wanted to destroy them. This Kumani is Haman. A Gilgul, a reincarnation. He's wanted to take over the whole world. Israel was the little guy. He was going after the big guy, America. So where are you, America? The land of the free and the brave, and you don't say a word about these Jews that are being persecuted. In America, in the freedom, and your so-called meritocracy of great institutions. Harvard, Yale, Columbia. What are these people? These heads of universities. How sick are they? Who's paying them? We know who's paying them. We don't want to say who's paying them. They're paying a lot of people to demonstrate. They don't believe in anything. They just believe in destruction. They believe in an ideology that's making them money at the expense of poor people. Mostly the Jews. So this Parsha Shalach, we are not victims. We don't play the victim game like they do in America. We're victims. You gotta support me. I have a son who has a barbershop. He's surrounded by by homeless. What is your governor doing for the homeless? What is he doing for the people who lost their homes when he could have done something? He's blaming the other, blaming them. That's not. We have to be unified. We have to overlook. We have to look at the total picture. Just like this harmony in nature, that's why I take these videos in nature. If you notice, a lot of my videos are outside. Because it's the trees that grow and blossom. And it's the Torah that's called Eitz Chayim Hila Machazikim Ba. It is the tree in which we're supposed to hold. And what is that tree called? That tree of life is Torah. And water, the brook, water is what the Jew lives in. He lives in Torah. And a Jew without Torah, the 5 books of Moses, the oral and the written tradition, the oral was written down in the Talmud because the Jews got exiled and they were afraid of going to be taught. But it's a very exact religion. It's no hocus pocus. It's all done on truth. If 9 rabbis argue against the truths based on text and reference and logic, if he wins, the other 9 have to concede to him. It's not like hocus pocus. There's the Virgin Mary and bingo, she gave birth, It doesn't work that way. Or a guy in the 7th century had a great idea. He said, hey, the Jews are no longer in Israel. Let's kill them. And you want to know something? Christians, they're not too good. We got the right idea. Let's have this belief system that we can go as liars to say anything we want, to break any negotiation, to break any treaty like what happened in the 60s with the PLO, the gangsters of Gaza, I call them. And the pity and the apathy for the wrong crowd is a lack of Torah that only the Jewish people can provide to this world. So with this in mind, on a very serious day in Israel, we've been bombed for the last week. Siren goes off, I open up my book, I say to my angels, don't worry about me. Protect my Jews out there, And people will call, why don't you go run to the shelters? If this missile has my name on its back end, designated for me, oh, this is Rob Barrow's missile. I have to believe that's for me, but I don't believe it. So they say the Yetzer Hara is the evil inclination, and that was Haman in the Persian story, and we have the Persian story today. The evil inclination is that desire that says there's no God, it's just me and my goals, and I do everything I want to achieve my goals without a God. No, the Jews say, we have a God, and we're going to broadcast this God to the world, and every nation in the world is going to see what Israel's done in 3,000 years. And you're all going to believe, hey, maybe there's something to it. Hey, maybe we shouldn't bother these Jews in America. I'm telling you this. These Jews in America are not putting up with your garbage anymore. Even if I have to come back to America to fix it. Whoever curses the Jew, it's written, is cursed. Like Bilam. Whoever blesses the Jew is blessed. And this guy, this false prophet, and there are a lot of false prophets. 90% of the prophets out there are false. Somebody that says they know about prophecy is already false. Nobody. I don't even know what prophecy is. I went to a Kabbalist just last night, and he goes, "Oh, you have you have something like King David on your face." So I said, "Well, what does that mean?" He says, "You tell me. I can't tell you." I says, "I'm telling you. If God comes to me and talks to me, then I know I'm a prophet, because he's actually reached out to me. But until then, I'm just walking alongside of him and trying to educate the masses who are completely whacked in their orientation about values. They're selfish. They're not for the community. My son, who has this haircut place in LA, right? He put some loudspeaker out just to take people out. The TV came and they go, oh, creative, LA mentality, right? And then I just saw yesterday in the paper, the newspaper took a picture of him outside. Yeah, they took down his Sharky loudspeaker. This is a loudspeaker for people who have children, and it activates a voice, So he used it to keep the homeless away. I was in LA a couple months ago, and all around the block were homeless. And my son is a fighter. My son Shalom is a fighter, and he talked to police. He talked to everybody. But you're talking to political officials that really don't know right from wrong, or they don't care about. If they really cared about the homeless, they would have tried to help them. But no, they give up on them. They don't want to do it because they're addicted. So what? Try to help them anyway. A lot of people who are former alcoholics or former drug addicts come out of it with 10 steps, whatever solution they find. We have to not give up on people. My son, he's not giving up on these people. He's just protecting what he has. And I give him my greatest blessing, because he's one of my children after my divorce who came to live with me for 1 year. And I put it into him. And he surprised me to no end. And he's doing much better than I ever did. So it's all in your heart. What you feel you can achieve. You can't do it, you can't do it. Don't be like the Spies. Be a Jew that is a builder and fearless to build instead of destroy, like our enemies. May they be destroyed before this Shabbos. All our enemies, to bring peace to the world. Amen.